1 becomes 5. One day, as Little Monkey was passing by Uncle Bear's house, Uncle Bear gave him a big red peach. Little Monkey didn't want to eat the peach right away, so he cradled it in his arms and continued on his way home. As he strolled along, he came to a small river where he met Little Pig. Little Pig saw the big, red peach in Little Monkey's hand, and his mouth started watering. "I haven't had a peach in a long time," Little Pig exclaimed. "Oh, I'll give the peach to you to enjoy." Without hesitation, Little Monkey handed the peach to Little Pig. "Thank you." Little Pig happily received the peach and then took two bright, yellow oranges from his own fruit basket. "I'll give you two sweet and tangy oranges in return." "Thank you," Little Monkey said, holding the 2 oranges as he continued on his way. When Little Monkey reached the orchard, he met Little Lamb. Seeing the oranges in Little Monkey's hands, Little Lamb couldn't help but salivate. "Oranges are so sweet and tangy. I'd really love to have some." "Oh, I'll give the oranges to you to enjoy," Little Monkey said, and he placed the 2 oranges into Little Lamb's hands. "You're so kind. Thank you." Little Lamb quickly picked 3 large and sweet pears from his basket and handed them to Little Monkey. "These are the pears I grew, and they are incredibly sweet. They must be delicious. Thank you so much," Little Monkey said, holding the 3 pears as he continued his journey. Before long, he met Little Bear. Little Bear couldn't help but draw when he saw the pears in Little Monkey's hands. "Your pears look so crispy and sweet. I really want to eat them." "Oh, I'll give the pears to you to enjoy," Little Monkey said, and he gave the 3 pears to Little Bear. Little Bear was thrilled and, in return, he immediately selected 4 big, red apples from his fruit basket and handed them to Little Monkey. "I'm giving you these 4 apples. Please accept them." "Thank you." Little Monkey smelled the strong fragrance of the apples and smiled with delight. With the 4 apples in hand, Little Monkey continued on his way. Just as he was about to reach his doorstep, he encountered Hippo. Hippo looked at the apples in Little Monkey's hands and said, "The red apples look very sweet. I really want to eat them." "Oh, I'll give the apples to you to enjoy," Little Monkey said, and handed the apples to Hippo. Hippo happily bit into the apples, and then he took out 5 fresh, juicy peaches from his fruit basket and handed them to Little Monkey. "I just picked these peaches. They are incredibly fresh." "Oh, thank you," Little Monkey exclaimed. He placed the peaches at home and couldn't help but exclaim, "Oh my peach has turned from 1 into 5. The different cotton candy. Jasmine had a rather unique-looking cotton candy. Whoosh! A gust of wind blew, and the cotton candy flew away. "Oh, don't run away, cotton candy." At the street corner, Jasmine found a shiny cotton candy stick. "Wow, it's so pretty." Beep beep, a car rushed by quickly, and Jasmine hurriedly moved out of the way, but the cotton candy stick accidentally touched the car. Poof! The car immediately became soft, like well-kneaded dough. Jasmine used the cotton candy stick to tap a pedestrian overpass, and the overpass became soft. Whoosh whoosh! The vehicles made of dough on the overpass slid down one by one. Ha ha! Jasmine discovered a big secret, a secret that now belonged to her alone. Jasmine used the cotton candy stick to tap the factories along the roadside. The factories danced like cotton candy. Workers tumbled out of the wobbly buildings and joyfully bounced along the soft roads. The boss, leaning on the soft door frame, angrily shouted, "Work! Work!" Jasmine tapped the boss's voice with the cotton candy stick, and the boss's voice became soft. But a deep red heart continued to beat angrily within his body. Jasmine gently tapped the boss's heart with the cotton candy stick, and the boss's heart became soft. A sweet smile appeared on his face. Everyone in the soft city laughed and laughed. Jasmine held the cotton candy stick and tapped the sky, making even the sky reveal a rainbow-like smile. Two little rabbits. There was a little rabbit who had a cute white house and a beautiful green garden. The little rabbit loved his house and garden very much, but for some reason, he felt like something was missing in his life. One day, the little rabbit sat on a hill watching his friends play soccer. They were shouting and cheering, having a great time. The little rabbit didn't enjoy playing soccer, but he thought, maybe my life is too quiet, lacking in color and sound. Yes, color and sound. So, the little rabbit immediately went to town and ordered a television. With the television, his life had color and sound, and it became much livelier than before. However, he still felt like something was missing. What could it be? One day, the little rabbit suddenly thought, maybe my life is too ordinary, missing some excitement and surprises. So, he promptly ordered a car. With the car, the little rabbit went on weekend trips and adventures, filling his life with excitement and surprises. Yet, he still felt like something was missing. The little rabbit kept searching for an answer. Until one day, a green dragonfly appeared in his garden. The little rabbit wanted to catch the beautiful green dragonfly, so he followed it through the woods and across the meadows. The little rabbit kept chasing the dragonfly until they reached a blue wooden house. The window of the house was open, and the dragonfly flew inside. The little rabbit summoned the courage to knock on the door. To his surprise, another little rabbit answered. "Hello," the little rabbit said. "Have you seen a green dragonfly? It flew into your house." "Really? Come on in and have a look," the other little rabbit said with a smile. The two little rabbits sat together, had tea and chatted. The more they talked, the happier they became because they shared similar views on many things. Later, the other little rabbit put on wings and led the little rabbit to a hill behind the blue wooden house. The rabbit with wings said, "Every morning, I come here, put on my wings, close my eyes and let the wind move my wings. I imagine myself as a free-flying bird. You're so special. I really like you," the little rabbit said. He looked at the rabbit with wings and felt incredibly happy. He suddenly realized that what was missing in his life was a good friend. The beautiful, lively green dragonfly quietly flew away from the two little rabbits. You might have guessed it. It was the magical creature in the story all along. The Composer Grasshopper. In the meadow, there was a little grasshopper who couldn't play music because its two wings had been accidentally broken. But this little grasshopper was still quite happy. "My wings can't play music," But I can still compose, the grasshopper firmly told itself. I'm going to create a magnificent symphony of the meadow. And so, the grasshopper began composing. During the day, it took walks in the meadow, listening to the performances of various insects and the songs of the birds in the sky. At night, it would lie on fragrant leaves, listening to the chirping of little crickets and the drumming of tiny frogs. These sounds filled the grasshopper with inspiration for its composition. The lively musical notes were like countless tadpoles playing freely in the stream of the musical staff. As summer drew to a close and autumn arrived, the grasshopper finally completed the composition, the Symphony of the Meadow. The grasshopper decided to host a grand music evening. It shared this idea with the editor of the Meadow Gazette, a little white rabbit who eagerly agreed. At the same time, it asked the hedgehog station manager of the Meadow TV and the field mouse radio station manager to spread the word, hoping that all the residents who could play music would join this music evening. The news spread quickly, and many meadow residents signed up to participate. As the grasshopper's health continued to decline, it heard this wonderful news and felt extremely excited. The grasshopper decided to conduct the music evening itself. Following that decision, the grasshopper conducted several rehearsals in succession, and its health deteriorated even further. The grand music evening finally had its official performance. All the meadow residents attended. The composer Grasshopper stood in the center of the stage with a conductor's baton and began directing the performers in the Symphony of the Meadow. The meadow residents were entranced by the picturesque music. The performance was a tremendous success. Meadow residents rose to their feet and applauded enthusiastically. However, the composer Grasshopper lay down in the center of the stage, smiling, and peacefully drifted off to sleep, never to wake up again. The Little Fox and the Sea. The little fox had heard the wise eagle who traveled the world say that the sunrise by the sea was breathtaking. He really wanted to go and see it with a friend, but he couldn't decide who to go with. The little fox realized that being a bad person made him lonely because he didn't have any friends. So, he decided to change and become a good child. With a bouquet of flowers in his hands, the little fox went to the bird's house. "Birdie, I'm sorry. I used to steal your things. Now, will you be my friend? I've changed." The bird, seeing it was the fox, got frightened and hid in the closet. "I'm scared. Go away quickly, or I'll call the police. Just believe me. I've really changed." The bird suddenly ran out of the house and yelled at the fox, "You liar! Get out of here!" The little fox felt dejected and continued down the path until he reached the door of the squirrel's house. He called out, "Squirrel, will you be my friend? I won't bully you anymore, I promise." The squirrel heard the fox's voice and yelled, "Don't come in. You're a bad fox. I won't trust you again." After that, the squirrel locked all the boxes in the house. The little fox was extremely disappointed. As he was about to return home, he saw a little rooster walking towards him. He said to the rooster, "Rooster, be my friend." The rooster, as soon as he saw the fox, screamed in fear, "Go away, or I'll hit you." The rooster picked up a stick lying nearby. The little fox suddenly burst into tears. "None of you believe me, and none of you want to be my friend. War. The rooster took a closer look and saw the fox's sincere expression, unlike a pretense. So, he said, "Do you really want to be my friend?" "Yes, I really want a friend to go with me to see the sea." "Great, let's go see the sea. That's amazing." The rooster and the little fox set off on their journey. When they were tired, they rested on the grass. When they were thirsty, they drank from a mountain stream. When it rained, they found a cave to hide in. When the rooster was hungry, the little fox caught grasshoppers for him, and when the rooster was tired, the little fox carried him. They were not afraid of hardship, crossed mountains and hills, and finally arrived at the seashore. The sea was truly beautiful. Flocks of seagulls flew freely in the sky. In the crystal blue seawater, fish played and swam towards them. They sat by the sea, watching the sunrise and sunset. They talked, laughed, sang and danced together, having a wonderful time. The little fox thought, being a good child is wonderful. Having a friend is wonderful. The bear's trip to the city. The bear decided to make a trip to the city. He walked along the way, dressed in his finest coat, and wore a splendid hat with lace trim all around. His boots were shining brightly, almost blinding to the eyes. "Today I look very stylish," the bear mumbled to himself. "With this outfit, I'm sure to leave a lasting impression on people when I enter the city." A crow perched on a tree branch overheard the bear's mumble and said, "Well, excuse me, but my opinion is quite different from yours. Considering your physique and bearing, you shouldn't be dressed like this. I just returned from the city. Would you like me to tell you how the most stylish folks in town are dressing these days?" "Oh, please tell me quickly," the bear said. "I've always thought it would be wonderful if I could wear the latest fashion of the city's most stylish people." This year, the crow said, the trendiest folks in town no longer wear hats. They use a frying pan on their heads as hats. As for coats, the kind you're wearing is already out of fashion. Nowadays, it's popular to wrap yourself in a bedsheet as a coat. And as for boots, they're no longer in use either. Instead, people wear two big paper bags on their feet. "Oh, no. What a disaster!" the bear exclaimed. "My outfit is completely outdated. Thank goodness you reminded me, or I would have been the laughingstock of the town." The bear quickly turned around and, once he was back home, he didn't hesitate to take off his coat, remove his hat, and kick off his boots. He then mimicked the stylish city folks' attire by placing a frying pan on his head, draping a bedsheet over himself, and putting two large paper bags on his feet. He looked at himself in the mirror and said, "Ah, the stylish folks in the city really have a wild imagination." The bear entered the city and found himself on the main street. People pointed, whispered, and then burst into laughter. Today, that bear is surely insane. This made the bear so embarrassed that he wished he could vanish into thin air. He immediately turned and fled the city, running back home as fast as he could. On his way, he encountered the crow again. "Crow, you told me all those things, and they were all lies," the bear said, fuming. "I never said that everything I told you was true, but why did you believe me?" The crow replied before taking off and flying away from the tree, cawing with laughter. The crow flew high in the sky, cawing and laughing loudly. The bear stared at the sky, feeling rather foolish. unique abilities of Little Sea Cucumber. Little Sea Cucumber had recently made a new friend, Little Yellow Fish. One day, Little Yellow Fish excitedly came to invite Little Sea Cucumber for an adventure in the deep sea. He wanted to show him the beauty of the ocean. Little Sea Cucumber sadly replied, "Little Yellow Fish, I'm sorry, but I can't swim. I can only crawl slowly on the seabed. In an hour, I can barely crawl for meters." Upon hearing this, Little Yellow Fish turned away and left in a hurry. In the blink of an eye, he returned with a rope. Playfully, he said, "I've thought of a solution. I'll pull you with this rope, and then we can explore the ocean together, right?" Grateful Little Sea Cucumber nodded. "Wow, this is so fast!" Little Sea Cucumber exclaimed excitedly as they glided through the water. Seeing his good friend so happy, Little Yellow Fish increased his speed, only stopping in a bed of seaweed to take a break. Little Yellow Fish panted for breath and looked at Little Sea Cucumber in astonishment. "Little Sea Cucumber, your skin changed colors. Is it because we swam too fast and you're not feeling well?" Little Sea Cucumber smiled and explained, "This is my unique ability. I can change my body's color to blend in with my surroundings. That's why I turned green when we entered the seaweed. This way, I can camouflage myself to avoid enemies." Little Yellow Fish was very impressed by his abilities. After a short rest, they set off again. They chatted and laughed along the way without realizing that danger was slowly approaching. A fierce shark had targeted them. Little Yellow Fish turned around and saw the shark, causing him to turn pale and shout, "Little Sea Cucumber, run! The shark wants to eat us." In response, Little Sea Cucumber rapidly contracted his body and squirted something toward the shark. Using the force, he propelled himself forward, saying urgently, "Quick, hide in the seaweed." Little Yellow Fish did his best to drag Little Sea Cucumber to the seaweed. The shark was so focused on the substance Little Sea Cucumber had squirted that it completely missed them. Once the danger had passed, an agitated Little Yellow Fish asked, "What did you squirt out at the shark?" "Without it, the shark would have eaten us," Little Sea Cucumber replied. "That was my insides." "What? Your insides? You squirted out your insides, and you're still alive." "Little Sea Cucumber, I've put you in danger. I shouldn't have brought you to such a perilous place to play." "Wah!" Little Yellow Fish cried, hugging Little Sea Cucumber, feeling guilty. Little Sea Cucumber quickly reassured Little Yellow Fish, "Look, I'm perfectly fine now. Let me tell you, that was another one of my unique abilities. I ejected my insides to attract the shark's attention, giving us the chance to escape. Most importantly, even if my body is partially consumed by an enemy, I won't die. After about 50 days, I'll grow new insides." Little Yellow Fish admired Little Sea Cucumber's special abilities greatly. After a while, Little Yellow Fish said, "My good friend, your abilities are amazing, but I hope we won't have to use them again." Little Sea Cucumber chuckled and replied, "I have another unique ability that you'll find out about in the summer." When summer arrived, Little Yellow Fish went to visit Little Sea Cucumber again, but he found him hiding in the rocks. Lying on his back, completely still and stiff, like a stone. Little Yellow Fish suspected that this was another one of Little Sea Cucumber's unique abilities. When he returned home, his mother explained that the summer ocean surface becomes warmer. causing many seabed creatures to come up to the surface to sunbathe. However, since little sea cucumber couldn't swim and couldn't reach the surface, he entered a summer dormancy, awakening in the autumn. Little yellow fish sighed, "My good friend, your unique abilities can be quite a challenge. It seems I'll have to wait until autumn to play with you again." The book-loving little tiger. The forest early mornings were serene, with most of the little animals still lost in their dreams. But at this moment, Leo, the little tiger, who loved reading the most, was sitting under a tall birch tree, engrossed in a thick book. Among the forest's inhabitants, Leo was the most knowledgeable. He knew which trees predicted the weather, which animals offered medical aid, and which flowers told the time. That's why everyone called him the Wise Star. As Lil read the book with great enthusiasm, a little dragonfly flew over and, after a twirl, said, "Lil, do you dare to take on my challenge? I want to test your knowledge, okay?" Lil grinned widely and replied, "Sure." The little dragonfly hovered in the air, then perched on Lil's shoulder and asked, "Listen carefully. Why are tears salty?" Lil didn't need a second to think. He promptly answered, "Tears contain various salts, with most of the salt content originating from our blood, or, if we trace it back, it comes from our diet." The little dragonfly widened its eyes and exclaimed, "You're quite impressive. I wish I knew as much as you." Lil suggested, "How about we create a forest library? Everyone can donate their books, and then we'll have plenty to read." The little dragonfly happily fluttered its wings and said, "I'll go share this wonderful news with all the little animals." Lil clapped his paws together and mumbled to himself, "I need to tell my MOM and donate our treehouse to be the library." The forest library opened 1 week later. During the day, all the little animals came to read. Guess who became the librarian? That's right, it was Leo, the little tiger. Pouty Little Rabbit. Once upon a time, there was a little rabbit who was very cute but had a habit of getting angry easily. For example, if there was food on the table that he didn't like, he'd get upset. If he didn't get something he wanted, he'd get angry. If he couldn't play with a toy that someone else had, he'd get mad. If his MOM gave his things to someone else, he'd become upset. In short, the little rabbit found many reasons to be mad. Every time he got angry, his mouth would turn up a little. Over time, he became known as the Pouty Rabbit. One day, a little pig came running and said, "Come and play with me." The little rabbit didn't have any friends, so he went to play with the pig. The pig asked, "Why are you so small?" The little rabbit replied, "I'm a little rabbit, and little rabbits are just this size." The pig laughed and said, "Ha ha, you're not a little rabbit, you're a little pig. No, you're a tiny little pig." The little rabbit didn't believe it. They passed by a river, and the little rabbit saw his reflection in the water. He couldn't believe his eyes. Since when did his mouth become so long and pouty? He looked terrible. Tears welled up, and the little rabbit began to cry. The pig consoled him, saying, "Don't cry. It's not so bad to be a little pig." The little rabbit thought about it and stopped crying. They arrived at the edge of a muddy pond, and the pig said, "Let's take a bath." The pig rolled around in the muddy pond and had a great time. After a while, the pig, seeing the little rabbit reluctant to get in, playfully pushed him into the mud. The mud was sticky and smelly, and the little rabbit struggled but couldn't get out. He only managed to get himself dirtier. Eventually, he climbed out of the pond and felt famished. The pig said, "If you're hungry, let's find something to eat." Using its snout, the pig snuffled around and occasionally used its mouth to dig the ground. The little rabbit imitated this, but ended up hurting his mouth and found nothing to eat. "No, I want to be a rabbit again." The little rabbit hurried back home, took a hot bath, and this time, he didn't get angry. From that day on, the little rabbit was no longer stubborn and didn't get angry. Not long after that, he became a lovable little rabbit once more. And, of course, that pouty mouth was nowhere to be seen. A happy weekend. It was the weekend and Lil was feeling troubled. Her teacher had assigned an essay with the topic A Happy Weekend, but Lil wasn't feeling very happy at all. Her dad didn't let her play on the computer, insisting that she work on her essay. Lil sat at the desk with a large sheet of paper spread out in front of her. She was frustrated and had trouble starting her essay. Her dad sat beside her, watching closely. "Start writing, why aren't you writing?" he said. "I can't do it," Lil replied. "You read so many books your mom bought for you. What was the point if you can't write a simple essay?" "I'm just not in the mood." "You have time to play games, don't you?" "Well, no more games until you finish your essay." For the entire morning, they sat at the desk. Lil's paper remained blank. Then, her mom came back home. "What's going on with you two?" she asked. Lil and her dad both began explaining. Her mom understood the situation and said with a smile, "What's wrong with letting the child play on the computer for a while? What's the point of a child who can't enjoy some playtime? It's the way to a bright future." Her dad was surprised. Lil was delighted. "I knew mom would understand me best," Lil exclaimed, and she quickly opened her computer to play a game. Her dad tried to protest, but her mom held him back. "Let Lil play on the computer." "I agree," her mom said. Her dad was astonished and Lil was overjoyed. "I have a great imagination, mom. I will record every mean thing he said about me when he was making me study," Lil said. "Good girl. Write it down and include his expressions, tone, and what he was thinking. After I finish this busy period, we'll settle the score with him. I'm going to start writing right now." "Great. When you're done, we'll play a game together. I've downloaded a fantastic new game that I want to play against you." Lil's typing speed on the computer was impressively fast. Her mom had taught her typing skills, and she had mastered pinyin and wabi input methods. She had an extensive vocabulary from reading so many books. She typed fluidly, capturing her dad's entire performance during their study session. She used various writing techniques: description, imagery, discussion, metaphor, personification, exaggeration, and more, making her essay engaging and vivid. Since the first grade, her mom had been teaching Lil how to type and use various input methods. Lil was a proficient typist. Lil's essay was complete, and she recited it proudly. Her dad was left baffled. He asked, "What about her essay?" At this moment, her mom said, "Dear, you should hurry up and cook us a meal. We have a game to play once Neil is done with her essay." Lil and her mom chimed in unison, "Yes, what are you waiting for? Let's play games."